Ladies and gentlemen, today I am speaking with the very lovely Timothy Draper, and we are going to be talking about what today, Tim?
Today, I would say we're going to be talking about my one motto, which is find your adventure. I'm a treasure hunter. There's more to it than just looking for treasure, in my opinion.
And you are from St. George, Utah.
I am, yep.
But you travel all over doing this, I assume, right?
We do, yeah. In fact, we just did a trip to Phoenix, Arizona in February. We just got back from mid-Utah, I would say, just in the last couple weeks. And here in 2 more weeks, we're going to be traveling up to North Utah. We also have plans to go to California here in the next couple months. So yeah, we're gonna be bouncing around. We want to see history. We want to go to all these different places and research them.
So when you talk about treasures, first of all, what do you mean by that?
I believe treasures are different for everybody. For me, even though I'm a treasure hunter, and I've been studying that, I've been putting my focus on that for about 17 years now. I've learned that there's more to a treasure than just silver and gold. I love camping. Being a treasure hunter, I'm always up in the mountains. I love history. I went to school for history, archaeology, anthropology. So yeah, for me, the treasure is it's friendship. It's getting outdoors. It's finding my passion. It's sharing it with other people. To me, there are many different treasures out there.
How did this start for you?
For me, ever since I was a little kid, I've loved outdoors. I was that boy that watched Goonies when I was a kid. And I remember watching that movie going, I want to do that when I grow up. And, it turned into, as I got older, well, I started chasing ghost towns and, things like that. And I was really intrigued by the history and the things that were left behind in ghost towns. And then when I got a little bit older than that, I read a book that really inspired me. The author of the book is Steve Schaefer. He's actually my mentor. He's been teaching me things for many years now. And after I read that book, it just got me hooked. I go, I think I found my place in life. I love the outdoors. I love history. I love cultures, and that kind of falls under anthropology. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to learn everything I can about lost history and all that kind of stuff, and try to bring it to the public.
Explain what American Treasures is all about.
I believe what it's about is teamwork. I've been doing it for a long time. I was very secretive for very many years. A lot of my mentor and every other treasure hunter I know usually is very secretive. For me, I saw a hole there though. I didn't want to be what I call a coffee shop treasure hunter. I wanted to go further than what these other guys have done. And I mean no offense to anybody in that way, but what I'm trying to do is create a team where I can bring together one mastermind, not one person, but bring in many different people with many different talents. That way I can go further than what I would by myself. There's been many times throughout all these years where I hit an obstacle and I couldn't go any further. I couldn't climb, or I couldn't scuba dive, or there was just certain things I couldn't do. I knew what I needed to do was find a modern way how to bring treasure hunters and people like me together so we can work together and actually move further than what other people have.
So are you saying then that you're the leader of this group called American Treasure Hunters? Or what's the deal? Explain exactly what that is so everybody can seek it out.
I am the founder of Treasures in America. You can find us on all social media. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. We're also on treasuresinamerica.com. I think the pictures and descriptions you see there, I do anything from trying to motivate people just to find their own passion, to get outdoors. That's my passion. You don't have to become a treasure hunter or a historian exactly like me to understand and to find your own passion. You get on there and you'll see that when you start following us, that sometimes I'll just post a picture of us camping saying, who doesn't like camping? Why don't you guys take your family, take your friends, let's go camping. So when it comes down to what it is, Treasures in America, yes, we are looking for real treasures. I am using what I have learned in school and from other treasure hunters and my mentors. I am using that to find real legit lost history and real legit treasures. But there's also many other routes that we take in between there that like what I said, it's not just about the treasure, it's about the other things too.
Tell us about your team, because we're going to be speaking with a couple of your team members today, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah. I'm proud to announce my team. This has only been going on for maybe a year now. It took a little bit of work. I did what I call prospecting. That's when I start looking for, well, I need this type of person. I need this kind of thinker. I need this kind of guy with this capability. So because I have a lot of secrets, I guess you can say, I had to find the right people. When I thought I might have found the right people, I would start sharing some of my adventures and stories with them. You can tell, or I was able to tell within very shortly, you know, you can see the look in their eyes. You can see the smile. Do they get excited by my stories? If they did, then it's like I went to the next step. I gave them a little bit more information. But anyways, I have David Graham, who is a scuba diver. He's an advanced scuba diver. That's big for Treasures in America. We're just not on the land anymore. We're in the water looking for lost history and treasures. I got Sean Fotheringham. He is our lead climber. He also is very good at managing and, you know, things like that. He's really helped me out on the business end of this. I have Antonio Mendez. He is our excavator. He has 25 years working with dirt, heavy equipment, you know, things like that. I got Todd Anderson, who is our miner and prospector. He's been doing that for about 30 years. Then I got Ryan Morrow, which is our newer videographer. And this guy is great. We invited him to go out on a trip. We did one of these things where we have room for one more person. We're looking for someone with a little bit of experience with camera. And the moment he showed up with this on the job site, and that's what I call a job site, a treasure area or a historical area, he just jumped right into it. He's filming, he did great. So between all of us, there is more behind the scenes. I pick and choose what I show to the public as of right now, but this is what I call my leadership. These guys, I am prepping them so we can move forward. What we want to do is invite many more people into our group, and we are getting very close to that, to where we can open up charters in southern Utah, northern Utah, Arizona, California, Nevada, Idaho. And hopefully what we can do is use this motivation that we have and our passion to inspire other people to find their adventure, work with us, and let's go out and let's do this together. Let's get organized, and let's really, instead of sitting around talking about it and imagining it, let's actually get out and do it.
Well, you know, you and I speak the same language.
Right? Good. Yeah.
So what type of hesitations or challenges do you find living your passion? Which I have to tell you, it sounds like a bunch of little boys all grown up having a blast. That's what this sounds like.
Yeah, that is true. That is one good way to put it. I tell everybody, when people ask me, well, what treasure did you find last weekend? I didn't find one. I didn't find an actual treasure. But that's what I did find. I've found friendship. I meet new people daily. People are reaching out to me. I'm reaching out to them. I'm gaining this knowledge of history and stuff like that, and people have no idea. I can send people down rabbit holes just by naming off a couple sites, and people, they can believe me or not, but I guarantee it's going to send them down a rabbit hole. And there's a lot more hidden history out there than what people think. No matter what, sometimes we just have fun. You know what? All the time the crew has fun. I laugh at these guys all the time. I'm always laughing.
Cue laugh.
Good job. That's what my wife says. She goes, he can laugh on demand.
Okay, so would you say your greatest challenge is what, though, doing this?
Okay, that's a good question. And this is something that might be good for some of the viewers who have been watching me for a while. I've been actually looking for an opportunity to get this out there. One of my biggest challenges yet was putting myself out there. There are a lot of people like me. I'm going to give a lot of people credit. There are a lot of people that in some cases know more history than I do, know more about treasure hunting than I do, know more about reading symbols and treasure maps than I do. And so most of these guys are a little bit older than me. They've been doing it a little bit longer. For having 17 years of this being my passion, I'm pretty young. So I am I'm the underdog in that way, I guess you can say at first. It was really hard to put myself out there and start showing people my secrets and start showing what I'm doing without them challenging me. And challenging in this kind of field happens a lot, especially if you're not working together. Let's say there's other groups similar to mine, and if they see that we found something great, it's really easy for them to challenge that and come back and go, well, how do you know it's that? I have tried to do it in a way of I control what I post and what I show people, and at this point I am trying to lean more towards the passion and the adventure of our story rather than I know it all. And what I'm hoping is that it kind of loosens up these other people to where they, and it has, you know, there's been several other groups that have gotten a hold of me and they go, oh, I like your style, you know, this is great. Even when they try to challenge me, I come back with something that, like my wife says, the way I do it, it's really hard for even these guys who want to challenge me. I make it really hard for them because I don't argue back. And lots of times I'll flip it around by, well, you know, that's great. I'm glad you have an opinion. Sounds like you know what you're talking about, but let's focus more on the adventure. Hey, we had a lot of fun. And like I said, I get to choose what I'm showing. And at this point, I am holding back a lot because right now what I want to do is just get a gathering of people who are following us and focus more on the adventure at this point. Later on, we can get more into the in-depth of treasure hunting and who knows how to read these symbols and who's better at treasure maps and things like that.
But what goes on with the greed between groups of people who hunt treasures? I mean, isn't this part of the challenge and why people are so tight-lipped and kind of don't want to collaborate?
Do you mean in the way of like they're afraid that I might know information or I'm afraid they might know information?
Yeah. Or like that you find something that's worth going after that could be something substantial that could make you money.
That is a challenge. It's not just the money, in my opinion. Most of these guys that I know, like I said, a lot of them, you know, let's say they're in their 50s, 60s, they've been doing it for 40 years. That's their life. They spent most of their life researching and going after this stuff. So I understand why they keep it quiet. And I can understand that if they see maybe a group like mine, we're in their backyard, I guess you can say, I can understand that they would feel a little, I don't know what you want to call it, maybe a little worried or maybe challenged or whatever. And that's why my message, if I can accomplish anything the next year, it would be, I'm not here to work against you. I'm here to work with you. And so is my team. We are here to work with you. Let's learn whatever you know. Let you teach me, I teach you. Well, let's really
combine forces.
Exactly. Let's find this.
Because the thing is, you know, you're coming into the game and, you know, not that you're super young, but you're, like you said, young compared to them.
Yeah.
And so as far as how to use resources such as the internet or technology.
Correct.
The fact that you're, you know, putting together and assembling a team of people who are good in all, you know, so much power comes in numbers that they would be foolish at some point to not want to collaborate and accomplish something greater than they can do on their own, but it probably feels very threatening to somebody who's been doing this.
I try to stay away from that. I try to stay on the positive side for sure. Mm-hmm. Lots of times if I sense it from someone, you know, I might withdraw a little bit. I might kind of stay away from it because I'm trying to not be threatening. I'm not the know-it-all. I'll admit it right now. I don't know anything. And if any treasure hunter or historian says they know everything right now, then they need to go back and look at the situation. I still have a lot to learn, so I don't want to be threatening to these guys. I want to work with them.
How exciting is it when you have an idea of something that you want to go after that I don't even know how this works. Like, you know, you think something is somewhere and somehow you get intel about it. I don't know. And then you make the decision to go after it. I mean, what happens and how does that feel?
It is awesome. The first big trip that this team did was in February, I would say. That's when we had the videographer, we had everybody who I felt like I had a good enough team to let's go out and let's really look for a treasure. It happened to be one of the most told and talked about treasure hunting stories in the United States, which is the Lost Dutchman. And you know, when we were driving down there, I felt like a kid again. You know, I'm sitting there in the passenger seat. I got my team in two cars. You know, we're in two different cars, and I remember just that moment of going, I did it. I got us this far. You know, this is great. And then when I get woken up by my guys the next morning, I'm the guy who used to always wake up early, excited about going outdoors. I get woken up by my team members the next morning. They're waking up before me saying, get up, let's go, let's do this. That was awesome. I gotta say that was awesome. All this hard work is starting to come together. And I'm not anywhere close to being done yet. I'm just starting. But yeah, that is, watching my team, my friends, my family, when I see those faces light up and those smiles, and they know I'm very passionate about what I do. People who really know me know that I'm passionate. And that is a very big reward for me right now. All the above, all that stuff.
I know exactly how I feel. You know, we're on this 50-state tour.
Yeah.
And I assembled my crew when we hit the road and we just started doing this all together. I felt like, you know, I settled into my spot, that spot I've been waiting for, to be a part of a team.
Yeah.
And have people enthusiastic about the same thing. So I get it.
It's awesome. It really is. It's awesome. And it's kind of, for me, it's like I have so many plans that I have not came out in the public and mentioned. And my team members have a lot of plans. Us as a team, we have many plans. Like I said, we haven't even started yet. And when I see them come up with their own ideas and they're working hard, just like how I'm working hard and everything, it really is awesome. It's like plan B or plan A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, you know, step by step, it's coming together. And that is awesome. I have to say, that's a rush right there.
What do you think you've learned about yourself through all of this?
I would say that I like meeting new people. I like new conversations. I like progressing. I like teaching. I like making people aware of things. I like being taught myself. There's a lot of things that I've learned, and I know I have a lot more to learn too. I have a feeling that the last couple of years have been a roller coaster. You know, I've been on the news channels, I've been on TV shows, I've done a lot of things, and it's been an emotional roller coaster for me. And there's been times where I don't know if I want to laugh and like an idiot, or if I want to cry, because it's like my passion, my ideas, my hard work is coming together, and so yeah.
So what advice would you give my audience on that front? Because, you know, I always tell them, envision something for yourself first. Like for you, you must see yourself out on this hunt, explore what it would take to do it. And you have so much exploration going on, and then execute a plan. So what kind of advice would you give?
You have to be on top of it, and you got to know what you want. You have to, you know, I hear in the world today, I notice that it's either people who are driven and people who are wanting to accomplish things and do it and start putting it in effect, or there's a people that don't, but they sit around wanting to. And for me, I would say, like I said, I was uncomfortable when I started this all by myself, no team. I put myself out there. I was challenged. I felt threatened a little bit. I didn't know where it was going to go. And then I just stayed at it. You have to find your dream and your passion. And once you find that dream and passion, you stick with it. You work hard at it. You can work hard at work. You can work hard at a lot of other things, but your passion is yours. That's your dream. That's what's important to you. And you can be the one that controls that. And I would say once you figure out what it is that you want to do, you just got to take it. That's your full-time job in the way of no one's going to fight for it except for yourself. You got to put it together, and you got to keep going. What
was the most memorable treasure that you found?
That one is a tough one. For one thing, treasure hunters do not admit what they found or what they have. I will tell you.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's actually that's a 101. Treasure hunters don't talk about that. Mm-hmm. I do have a Spanish sword in my living room that's proudly sitting there. When it comes to treasures, again, I'm still new at it. Some of my mentors have found plenty. I've been around it, things like that. There's things that I've found. The actual treasure, the mother lode that we're all looking for, that makes it to where I don't have to work every day and I can buy the big house on the hill. I haven't found that yet. But like I said, there's been a lot of other treasures I found in between. So.
Well, thank you so much, and I hope everybody looks you up, for my audience, so they can get familiar with what you're doing, because I think it's really exciting, and I think that you're bringing things into this new millennium here, right? That it's going to be very different from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's exciting for me. That's another movie that I watched. Indiana Jones. I remember watching that when I was a kid, going, I want to do that too. And that's why, when I went back to school, I had to stick with anthropology and archaeology, because you have to have some knowledge of all the above, a little bit of all the above.
You were a teacher. I can hear it. I was a teacher.
Yeah.
Until last June. So I hear it in you, and you even said you love teaching.
I do. I've really learned that in the last year. When there's been many times where I'm in a restaurant, I start talking the way we are now, and you'll be surprised, in a loud restaurant, all of a sudden you got people that are quiet. The room starts getting quiet, and people are like this, and like, treasure? What? And you keep talking.
You just do it to mess with people.
I will tell you this. Me and my mentor, one time at the same diner that you guys went to, the Black Bear Diner in St. George, we noticed that the restaurant, that's a pretty loud restaurant. Mm-hmm. It started getting quiet where we were at. The whole little wing started getting quiet, and we noticed that people were watching us. My mentor, he ends up flipping over the paper, what do you call it, the paper mat?
The placemat.
And he goes, you got a pen? And I go, yeah, here's a pen. And he goes, watch this. And he starts drawing a treasure map. And we start talking about it. We changed some of the names of the areas and things like that. By the time we're done, we left this, what looked like a legitimate handwritten treasure map that we just had a plan of. And we left it there. And after we went out, we would look through the window. We could see people going up to the table going, what's that? What's that? So... I like humor too.
So when is your next venture?
In 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks, we'll be up in what's called the Uinta Mountains in northern Utah. Very beautiful. We're going to be about 10,000 feet in elevation. It's not as high as K2 or Mount Everest, but for what we do, that's up there. You're starting to get above the tree line. There's a lot of challenges in the way of the oxygen's thinner. You have to be a little more in shape. We are I would say at least a couple hours from any kind of grocery store. It's a hard 4-wheel drive road to get up there. Once you're up there, you're dedicated. And so that will be our next one.
Good luck.
No, thank you.
Report back.
I will. Thank you.
And I talk to you, 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 and we love, and we hate, and we demonstrate. We try to relate. This is my break.